the Supreme Court. The only people who have more control over your life than Jeff Bezos. For decades now, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was the cornerstone of the court's liberal bloc. But over the weekend, Donald Trump nominated Amy Coney Barrett as her replacement. And it looks like having three names is the only thing she and her predecessor have in common.
37 days out from Election Day, the president selecting Judge Amy Coney Barrett to fill the seat vacated by the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
At age 48, Amy Coney Barrett would become the youngest member of the Supreme Court. A native of New Orleans, she went to college in Tennessee and graduated from law school at Notre Dame, where she taught law for 15 years and is a devout Catholic.
Barrett, a former clerk for Justice Antonin Scalia, could reshape the court for decades to come, pushing it further to the right.
In 2003, she suggested that a key Supreme Court decision upholding Roe v. Wade and a right to abortion was wrongly decided. If she's confirmed, the court would be more likely to uphold efforts by the states to restrict access to abortion. And the court would probably be more likely to broaden the reach of gun rights. If she's confirmed by the time the Supreme Court hears a make-or-break challenge to Obamacare in mid-November, she might be inclined to rule for the red states challenging the law. She's been critical of the court's 2012 ruling upholding it.
That's right, people. Trump's nominee to replace RBG could help overturn Roe v. Wade, kill Obamacare, and expand gun rights. So that means someday in the future, a fetus can shoot you and you won't have insurance to pay the hospital bills. This is like Mike Pence's wet dream, if he was allowed to have them, of course. And what's really shocking about these issues is how out of touch the Supreme Court could be from the country at large. I mean, 63% of Americans want Roe v. Wade kept in place, 56% support Obamacare, and 64% support stricter gun laws. I guess this is what the Founding Fathers always wanted. You know, a branch of government that would act like an evil step-parent for the rest of the country. Please, ma'am, may I have some health care? No! Now go to your room and play with your AR-15. Pa, 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 pa. And those are just some of the issues she'll rule on in the next couple of years. Because keep in mind, Barrett is only 48 years old. So she'll be sitting on the bench for decades, which is really bad news for liberals. And really bad news for her. I mean, sitting on a bench for decades with no seat cushions, that's going to get uncomfortable. Or is that not how it works? They've got like, Now, usually, confirming a Supreme Court nominee can take up to 3 months. You need time to vet the nominee. You need time to hold the hearings, and you need time to take them to the mall for their glamour shots. But since the election is just 5 weeks away, Republicans are putting the process on fast forward. And based on the schedule that they've put forward, they are going to vote to confirm Amy Coney Barrett just days before the election. And you almost have to appreciate how ballsy this is. I mean, this is the same party that went from, you can't confirm a Supreme Court justice during the same year as an election, and now they're practically confirming someone on election day. It's a complex legislative maneuver known as the shrug emoji. And you know, I wouldn't mind Republicans doing a complete 180 on this if every now and again they flipped on a different belief, you know? Like how poor people don't deserve to live. You know, do a 180 on that one, spice things up. And right now, Democrats don't have a lot of options to stop the nominee. In fact, Joe Biden has resorted to appealing to Republicans' sense of decency and urging them to vote against filling the seat right before the election. But I'm going to be honest, Republicans are not giving off a strong decency vibe right now.
From notorious RGB to notorious ACB, the Republican grassroots fundraising group WinRed is now offering limited edition T-shirts referring to President Trump's new Supreme Court nominee, Amy Coney Barrett, as the notorious ACB. The shirt is a play on the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who is often referred to as the notorious RBG. The shirt comes 1 week after Ginsburg's passing.
Ah, yes. Nothing says class and decency like mocking a deceased Supreme Court justice by stealing her nickname. Not only is this insulting to RBG's legacy, it's insulting to rap. Because there's no way Amy Coney Barrett even knows who Biggie Smalls is. I bet if you asked her, she'd probably think you were taking measurements for her robe fitting. In fact, Amy Coney Barrett is the exact opposite of RBG. So technically, she should be Tupac. I mean, if you're gonna do it right. Those should be Thug Pro-Life t-shirts, you dumbasses. Actually, that's a good idea. Don't give them that. But guess what? Two can play at this game, conservatives. You steal a liberal's nickname, then I'm going to steal a conservative's nickname. From now on, I'm going to go by Ted Cruz's moniker. That's right. You can call me Trevor if Wolverine was addicted to fudge Noah. Of course, if I was Trump, I would also be rushing to fill the Supreme Court seat. And not just because it's important, but also because it takes attention away from the coronavirus, which is still rampaging through the country. In fact, after dropping during the summer, corona cases are now on the rise again in 21 states. But apparently for the governor of Florida, that sounds like party time.
The Orlando Sentinel reports coronavirus infections in Florida have topped 700,000 as the state reopens businesses. The governor lifted all restrictions on restaurants, bars, clubs, and other businesses in the state on Friday in a move to reopen the economy. Under the order, local leaders cannot fine people for failing to wear a mask in public. Florida is third in the nation for COVID-19 infections.
Governor Ron DeSantis says he's willing to consider a college bill of rights so college students can socialize and participate in activities without worrying about getting thrown out of school. He wouldn't say whether it will be done through an executive order, but the announcement he made after Florida State University announced that it will suspend any student who attends or hosts large gatherings on or off campus.
Wow. Ron DeSantis is not messing around. While other states are out here gingerly trying to figure out how to safely open around coronavirus, this guy's just declared that Florida ain't quarantining for shit! In a weird way, I kind of get where he's coming from, guys. I mean, there are times that I've just wanted to say, you know what, forget the masks, forget being safe. I miss being coughed on by strangers in the subway. But then I remember that people are still dying from coronavirus all the time, and that brings me back to my senses. But oh man, if you ignore those people dying, boy, then it's a party, baby! But then you remember, then you're sad. But if you don't remember, and I know that some of you right now will say, is it really a good idea for the state with the most deaths over the past week to say no masks, no restrictions, no nothing? But guys, when has Florida ever been about good ideas? This is the state that legally defined tank tops as black tie. Good ideas is not their thing. But I will say, even for Florida, I'm surprised that they think a pandemic is the time to fight for college kids' right to do a keg stand. I mean, if there was ever a college game that seems like it was invented by coronavirus, it would be keg stands. Crazy idea, guys. But what if we all, took turns putting our mouths on the same tap over and over again? That would be fun, right?